Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to J3 Entertainment. You guys know what time it is.
It's review time, y'all.
Yes, it is, brother. And what are we reviewing today?
X. Yes.
If you're new to the channel, let me explain how we like to review movies. We like to talk about the good and the bad.
And then we're going to give our grade.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, brother, let's go ahead and get into this good.
All right, man. So, first off, it's good to have Ty West back directing and writing again because it's been a minute.
Can we get one of these?
Yeah. And shout out to A24, man, for bringing that artistic style horror, man, that people overlook and that studios don't want to make most of the time. So we have this studio that takes things that are familiar and flips on its head and tries to throw little ideas and little concepts in there to keep things fresh and nuanced, but you still get the stuff that you showed up to come see. Yeah. That's what this movie does. And I like that X celebrates the era of like exploitation, like slasher movies, and then like the grindhouse movies, and then the era of like porn industry. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You get a lot of that stuff because those movies were a challenge to make then because no one really took them seriously. But to the people that were behind the scenes making it, that was considered art. And this movie is really about expression.
It really is.
And you get different dilemmas of things that these characters really want in their life. You know, you're rooting for them. You know, they want to, you know, chase their dreams. You know, you got the themes of like love, you know, sex and things like that that are overlooked and looked at as like, ugh, that's disgusting, but it's nature and it's part of life. Yeah. So porn was art and horror was art, but in the era of the 70s, these movies are looked at as trash films. And this is actually a genre. Trash films. Like, it's not me making fun of it. This is a thing.
Yeah.
Exploitation, grindhouse, cult films. This movie is a culmination of all of that. So if you like slashers, sex, blood, and guts, and rock and roll and all that, this movie's for you.
Dun-dun-dun. All right. So, all right.
Yeah.
One of my goods is, you kind of touched on a little bit, but when you see the trailer, you kind of get what you get watching the trailer with this movie.
Sure.
There's no deception watching this film.
Yeah.
The trailer lets you know what you're about to get, and you get it.
Yeah.
You don't know how you're going to get it, but then you get it.
Yeah.
And another cool thing about this movie is it takes place in 1979.
Yeah.
And it lets you reminds you of that feeling of watching those old school horror movies. You know, you take it back to Mike Myers, Jason, even Freddy. Yeah. It gives you that vibe and that feel of it from the shots, from the way things occurred, the scenarios. And that was a really big pro for me because a lot of horror movies now try to amp it up so much they forget where they came from.
True.
And this one speaks to the audience exactly why you came to watch it. Just like you said.
Yeah.
That's one of my goods.
I think another thing that's really dope about this movie is Ty West is directing. As an audience member, he understands that his audience is smart and that they're able to figure things out. But at the same time, he's telling you from the get-go, be patient because there will be a payoff.
Yeah.
His slow burn style has not, left. So if you're worried about that, it's the pacing is like it takes its time. And with his storytelling, that's always been his style and his momentum. He lures you in and he does good at making you forget that you're watching a horror film, and then he'll give you subtle moments and scenes of tension to remind you that, hey, we're watching a horror film. And then he gives you that fun stuff, and then he gets back to the nitty-gritty details. And he'll linger on shots for maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. In most horror movies, it'll be like flashy cuts, like a music video, just chopping, trying to be over stylistic for no reason. He will linger on the shot, letting you get the feel of the scenery, feeling the feeling of Texas, understanding what the characters are doing. There will be scenes like where a character will be walking through the cornfields, and it's a dope shot. When you see these specific shots in this movie, it will remind you of other slasher movies that you've probably seen, mainly Texas Chainsaw Massacres going around. That is true.
Oh, yes.
It felt like that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And it was insane because it's like, man, I don't know how anyone could not watch this movie and not be inspired to make movies, because it really is very artsy. And people say, I don't need it to be all that because it's a slasher movie. But yeah, slasher movies can be smart, though. People just choose not to watch that kind of stuff, though.
Yeah.
And this is why horror, I guess from an outside doesn't get that credit and perspective that it deserves. Because when movies like this come around, they get overlooked. They do. Yeah, because people are used to seeing the same generic formula. Granted, I enjoy them, but at some point, you got to do something different to keep your audience coming back. Because horror can get stale when you get desensitized to things that we love and things that we like to see. But X does it in a way where they explore different themes with these characters that I've never seen done in a slasher movie.
Yeah. I got you on that.
It's unique.
Another good for me. When you deal with the casting, this is a very unique cast. We have some new faces coming to the scene, and beautiful women, and horror just screams, "I want my ticket. Let me see this." Like we all know, this movie is about a up and coming pornography film, and you get that taste. You know what I'm saying? And it takes you back to, I don't know, when I first watched pornography, I was a little young. It looked like that.
Nostalgia, baby.
It looked like that. So it took you back to that. And the thing about it that was really cool was they didn't hold back as far as I guess I could say they didn't take it to N17, but you got the gist of what's going on.
Yeah.
And they made fun of it at the same time, had fun with it.
There it is.
Another thing about it that collaborated everything was just all the genres, like you said, came together. But then at the end of the day, I felt like a teenager watching this movie. I was able to laugh at the deaths. I was able to have fun with it. I was able to say, "Get out of there! What the hell you doing? No, gee, why would you go there?"
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's what horror is all about to me. It's about yelling at the screen sometime, be like, "Yo, why would you? Damn, got popped."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love that thing, and T.I. West gave us that, and he really brought us back to that genre, man. I truly appreciate this film for that.
I will say, I'm gonna speak on the cast too. That was a good segue. The cast members in this movie are all, suave, good looking, very attractive and stuff. And I think it works for the roles that they're playing, because had this been like any other, like maybe A-lister or B-lister, they would look down on roles like this or script. But these are characters that believe in what they're doing. They're free-spirited.
Yeah.
And they're hopeful for what their outcome is going to be in the future. So they're doing things in order to survive. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a reason for what they're doing, and they tell you why they do what they're doing, and they explain why they do what they do, because they say relationships are a thing, but, sex is sex, and, love is love. They're different. But if I'm going to do something that's going to further my career, I'm going to do what I'm good at. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was unique, because it's like nobody was a horror hoe. This is what they do. This is their job. They're trying to get into the industry of what they're doing. And then these are the kind of things that had to be done. These were things that were tolerated. And I like that these women in the movie were able to be women and the men were able to be men.
Yeah.
Without, unapologetic, without, saying sorry and things like that. It came from an honest and raw and real place.
Yeah.
And it was empowering seeing these men and women do what they do, because this was how it was then, and this was that era, and things were a little bit different. And they reminded you, like, hey, as long as nobody's getting hurt, it's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody's working as a team. So you got to see the gist of how the men and women thought, oh, we're going to make this movie, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to have sex with him. If this is going to benefit him, yeah, of course it is. It's going to benefit you. Yeah, you're going to be a star after this. This is our cameraman.
Hippie style.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it was a team factor. It was no agenda or nothing like that. And I love that, and I miss that. And I think movies like this had to remind us that these kind of characters can exist when written and directed properly. Yeah. There's a cool little concept, and there's this element of, hey, just if you come from a real place, your audience is going to come with you. They're going to come in. They're going to be invested. Mm-hmm. You don't have to force anything. Just tell the truth and make it real and fun. Yeah. It did that.
True.
Yeah.
Let's go and get into the bad. I'll start with this one. My bad is really simple. It's a pro and it's a con at the same time. It's more of the scenario cheesiness of certain deaths. Very predictable, but that could be my fault.
Okay.
I watch too much of these movies. I kind of see it coming a mile away. And at this point, I don't think no one could really, quite frankly, change the game where you'd be caught off guard.
I'll be shocked. I'll be waiting. I'm still waiting.
I'll be like, I did not see that one. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's things like that occur. And I think some people that don't understand how horror movies are, and they come in and watch this, they might either see this as, I don't get it. I get it. But I think that is a con in a situation. Like, it's a bad, man, because some things I think shouldn't have went down like that. Yeah. The way certain murders went down, but at the same time, it still was fun watching.
Okay. I didn't have problems with the deaths or like the suspense and stuff. That was cool. I was more focused on the narrative and then like the themes overall stuff. That's the stuff that kind of got me in. But I hear where you're coming from, though. I will say, if I'm a nitpick, because I really have no bads. I love this movie. I wanted to get more of the sheriff's department point of view because I like that detective. We got a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But the moments that they were there, it was fire. Because it was just that old fashioned, I don't care about this. Let's just find the killers. Let's go get them. It was that old school deputy mentality. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
This is going to be the greatest foreigner ever. It was crazy.
No,
So
I totally understand.
I wish we had got their point of view, like them, going through the cold case files, more investigating, getting more of that documentary feel. We got a little bit of it from the pornography perspective, but I mean from the deputy sheriffs, I thought that would have been cool.
Oh, okay. I will say, as far as if we want to go into characters, I agree. The sheriff point of view would have been great. I also thought that the main character, Maxine, I would have liked to got a little bit more about her backstory.
Okay, yeah.
Really break down why she's where she's at. And I think it would have drove and made it leave. That's would have changed the suspense for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I mean, I get where we coming, but I feel like we missed out in that beginning.
Okay, yeah.
The very beginning, we
were
missed
thrown
out
into
a lot.
it.
We thrown into it, but I feel like if I got that information, you got a little Easter eggs here and there, which was cool.
Sure.
And if you follow the trail, you kind of figure it out, and you kind of get a gist, and you have a assumption of what's going on, but there's nothing really that's concrete evidence. I wish we had got that concrete evidence.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and give this movie a grade.
All right.
Had a lot of fun. Took me back one time. I felt like I was in the 70s watching this movie, or the early 80s. And I love the sex scenes, love the actors and the actresses in this movie. The murders were interesting. The killer was interesting. I was like, oh, I have fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this movie 3.5 stars.
Okay. Man, welcome back, Ty West. I think this is your best film as of right now. Like you came out swinging. Like this was crazy return. The cast was dope. The three highlights for me is Mia Goth, Brittany Snow, and Jenna Ortega.
The ladies.
They were amazing. My gosh. Oh, my gosh. And I just love the experience of this. Like, it's a horror movie, but I got so much more. And just watching the theater, I think, was very exciting for me, man. This movie had me hot. I don't mean hot. Like, it was hot watching girls and stuff. Like, it was dope. It was epic, man. And then I thought the directing was cool. And it inspired me as a fan and just as a moviegoer to see that. I hope to do something like this one day, make a horror film or something like that, man. It's just cool seeing art house. It has it all, man. This movie feels like a jam-packed genre greatest hits album for me as a horror fan. And for that, I got to give it 5 stars.
5 stars.
This movie was fire.
Ronin strikes again with the 5 stars.
This has been my year, man. Just for the horror, like, dude, y'all killing it. Yeah. A24, thank you, man. Yeah. Keep them coming. Keep that elevated horror coming.
They got that energy rolling.
And I got to speak on this last thing. So the girl from Scream, Jenna Ortega, this is crazy. It's like she's an actress, but even as a fictional character, she stayed true to her beliefs. She says she likes elevated horror. She's in another elevated horror X. I expect her character to talk about this movie in the next Scream. That will be lit.
Yeah,
because that's subtle meta. Very subtle. But I noticed, I was like, she's in another elevated horror. What she talked about in Scream. And she's doing it. And then, like, she's blowing up as a star. This girl got talent.
Yeah.
Shout outs.
Sometimes you find your lane and you're like, let's go and take it to that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and push that subscribe button. Thumbs up this video. Don't forget to share Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm J3.
Running Shogun.
Woo!
Ninja Assassin.
100,000 subscribers, y'all.
We're coming.